Hello, and welcome back to the RiftGuides WildRift video. Again, a recording of mine, not an actual gameplay, because, well, it was still from the same session. But here we have a Caitlyn and Nautilus game into GACHA and Janna. In the other game, we have to be a little bit mindful about what we do. We get poked a little bit, depending on what we do. Need to space out the enemy ranged. If we survive this phase, like level 1, things are going to become so much easier. Nautilus now hits the wall, gets a cooldown reduction on his first ability, and we just get some juicy damage in the whole phases. However, that's not a problem. We got some good damage onto the Kai'Sa, and now we'll establish lane control. In case you're wondering, you see here, he's spacing in there to stay in there to give the enemy a sense of pressure, because they don't know where he is. And with that in mind, they have to constantly think about the possibility of this guy hooking out here and then just immediately getting somebody killed because he still has flash available and his auto attack is going to be a root. So that way, we just slowly push the wave into the tower, preparing a potential dive with the assistance of Shen if he wants to. We also will avoid that the enemy jungle is coming by and getting us killed, because this wave here will be the perfect timer where the enemy jungle will enter this area here. Now the Janna makes a massive mistake by walking forward. She needs to be really mindful, use both tornadoes. Now we can place a trap behind her if she walks forward, like here. And she's not allowed to walk forward like this. She gets trapped, gets full comboed, gets ignited, a little bit late with the ignite, but we still get the kill. And now we just space around the corner here and deal as much damage as we can to the Kai'Sa, while also pushing the wave. However, our goal right now is not to get the kill onto the Kai'Sa, it's rather to just reset. And the reason is the following. Remember when I said, or when I talked about the wave earlier, about this area up here when we hit the third wave into the tower? It's very likely that the enemy jungle is going to get closer, so we need to hurry up on the play we are going to make, to then just recall in like safety and avoid the jungle being in this vicinity here again, because now the likelihood that the enemy jungle has recalled and is somewhere up here gets increasingly higher. Nonetheless, we see the Lilia very much delayed on the bottom side scuttle. But it doesn't matter because we avoided her anyway, which is the primary goal of what we wanted to do. Lilia is inside of our jungle. I personally do not care about this incident there, and I'm focusing on the wave here. I do not want to have the possibility of losing my life here when there's so many minions to be farmed. Kai'Sa makes a big mistake, nicely done by the Nautilus. Sadly, the hook didn't connect, the root didn't connect, and therefore the trap wasn't placed fast enough. But it's still a very decent chunk here, and if I place my trap earlier without expecting, like in the brain, you know, then I think it's going to be a kill, because that's a beautiful combo with Caitlyn and all CC champions. You just CC them once, place the trap below if you can, and go for full damage on them. Spacing it outwards again, and then returning to the play. Shen survives this, but I actually do die. But now we're instantly back at the scene. I popped the Rammus emote because, you know, this is something you have to. My Nautilus has a good reset timer for a roam towards mid lane. I'll be sitting back in my bot lane, going for some gold. I can safely approach this. I have enough vision. Lilia's on the other side of the map, and I can start using my range to bully people. Just always try to use your superior range to deal damage to enemy champions as they're trying to last hit. One of the biggest issues in WildRift, however, is that minions are so unbelievably broken that most of the time you actually take more damage when you try to do this, so keep that one in mind. Securing some vision, again, we still see Lily on the other side of the map, and this Janna is doing some interesting things up there and loses the majority of her HP bar. And now, with Janna being that low, nice combo here by the Nautilus, we get the full CC combo going here, and the Kai'Sa really needs to be mindful, gets killed here. The Janna gets killed by the ultimate because the Kai'Sa paths too far away, and now the Kai'Sa is left alone. What is the Kai'Sa gonna do? Will you die? Gets auto attack rooted, gets immediately killed. I tank the tower, so my Nautilus doesn't even have to fear dying, and we get so much gold here. Now, Lilia makes her appearance. I could potentially try to flash or use any summoner spells, but I'd rather just accept my death because there's no point to it. And I'll actually not look at this. It's better for the mental health. We just don't look at this because it was very tilting to see this in game. Luckily, we don't see my POV. and then I return to mid lane. So why am I not going towards bot lane? The objective is currently a Dragon or Herald, and I want to put myself into a position where I can play around both without putting myself at risk of losing anything. Therefore, I just walked mid lane. So I was also able to just approach any potential play, and this Jace champion nearly killed me. So the real question, however, is why is this Swain not going bot lane right now? Because I gave him the opportunity to just choose to go to a lane, but now I'm forced to reset with my pathetic HP bar. Our jungle chooses to go for Dragon, and I have an item in base. And now I'll make my way to the bottom half of the map again, because apparently we do not want to play on a macro scale, so I guess we just go fist fighting. If the team doesn't want to take the right objective at the right time, we just keep on moving forward. Pop my ghost here, run at them, flash at her, get the 1 kill, and then, the fruit is too much. Feels bad, man. But suddenly, for whatever reason, Swain is now here. So, not only did he not go bot lane when it was free as hell, he also just walked down here to just be moral support. Which is a very big mistake, from my opinion. Meanwhile, our Shen and Volibear are having some incidents at the Herald, even though they chose to not go Herald earlier and rather prioritize a user's Ocean Dragon. So we just established that in this game, objectives will not be the thing that are going to win us the game, because we cannot trust people to actually play around these objectives. Kai'Sa pops exhaust onto me. She's really, really, really brave for doing so. Now we just walk away, and we just go for a cheeky little reset or our own golems, depending on how much time we have left. As an AD carry, you can always try to... Oh, we spot the Lilia here as well. Do some cheeky damage onto her, but our focus is not killing her right now. Nah. GG. I lost the big croc. It's over. But yeah, as an AD carry, what you can do, you can most of the time just take away some lovely camps in downtime, especially if your jungle isn't available around this area, because you just get gold for free. Ideally, you obviously take enemy jungle camps, but that's not always an option, so yeah, keep that in mind. But as an AD carry, your primary role is most of the time just to soak up gold, and then once you have enough gold, carry team fights. Caitlyn on one hand is a champion that's designed to win lane. If she doesn't win lane, she's absolutely terrible. Sadly, we don't get the kill here onto the Lilia, we just get some assist money, but we start dealing some good damage here. Pop the trap here, so deny the enemy follow-up, get some good damage, hit some big Qs onto the backline, get knocked up here, but we are not at threat of dying just yet. Now finally Shen ults in. The bait has been successful, even though it wasn't even planned to be a bait, and we hit the enemy with an ultimate as well. This will finally net us the tower. So one of the biggest issues here I really dislike when playing AD carry is more than often, you actually have to be the front line and back line at the same time. You have to complete multiple jobs at the same time while risking your life. Because nobody wants to pull the trigger, and you basically have to pull in the enemy into you. Because what does happen if Nautilus goes in for full engage? Like, they'll just walk away. So I have to just run at them, put them low, maybe hope that they engage onto me, rely on my Shen pressing ult, and then turn the fight around. If this doesn't happen, then we'll just look at each other, and the enemy team will slowly but surely get to a point where they'll heavily outscale us. They have Lilia Kai'Sa with an Ornn frontline and a Janna backline. Scaling is most definitely not on our side this game. While my team is having some interesting fun up in the top lane, I'm just focusing on pushing down towers and getting as much gold as possible, because minions and towers give you plenty of gold. And with me going there, I don't even know if the fight would still be going on if I walk there. I'd rather focus on just taking away the enemy structures, because it's so free. Kai'Sa walks up, I sadly take turret aggro, so I can't just immediately follow up on that play. Deal some good damage, but sadly since I was tanking, the play kinda failed. Now the Ornn ult comes through, knocks me up, but not too much of an issue. Jace now walks around the corner, so I place a trap above me as well, avoid the EQ combo, walks at me. He is a brave man, he just takes so much damage. But now I don't crit any critters, hello, any critters, and now the madness unfolds. We start blasting, we start gunning down the Ornn, 15 billion auto attacks, lethal tempo fully stacked, and they're not dying. That is the downside of playing Caitlyn during mid-game. in mid-game this champion feels very, very weak because you simply lack damage. Now I don't want to get hit by the Lilia, I need to be mindful here on use his third ability so I have some time to space up and be relatively annoying. I don't want to be hit, so I just press flash, because if I get hit by the Lilia spell into ult, I'm just dead. Going for some attacks again, keep my lethal tempo fully stacked. Sadly I get knocked up, Lilia flashes in, now I can jump the wall, and now I can hit from the pit in hopes of achieving something, but I will not leave upwards. If Shen wanted me to carry this fight, he needed to walk this direction here. But he didn't, so no help from me, and I don't want to expose myself to certain death, because if I get hit by anything of their flashes, like Jay still has flash, I will just be dead. I don't have flash myself, I don't even have mana, I don't even have anything. So I'd rather just keep myself safe, other than trying to, you know, be a hero when it's too much of a risk. Now my Swain steps up, creates some space for me. With that happening, flash in, I can now finally convert this pressure into also dealing damage into the Jay's face and turn this into a very positive outcome for us. But I don't know what Swain is doing right now. He could just leave if he wanted to. If he wants to, he can leave towards me, because I don't want to walk upwards. I want to focus on what wins the game, because what happens if on CCs me and I don't have the ult timer of Kai'Sa in mind, because in-game I don't know about this timer. I don't know necessarily if the Kai'Sa ult is going to be up in 5 or 10 seconds, and then if I get knocked up and Kai'Sa jumps onto me, I'll simply die. It's too much of a risk. I don't want to take this. My brother Nautilus granting me some free gold with the minions and the monsters in the jungle. Need to be mindful. I don't want to show here because they might go for Baron, so I'd rather stay in Fog of War. Even though I'd really love to take that wave, but it's simply not a possibility. Lilia being spotted down here, absolutely comical what she's doing there, even though she can maybe threaten Nashor. Nautilus dies in the mid lane. I popped Ghost to get there a little bit faster. On pops ult trying to get me. I avoid it with my third ability, play some traps in the way so I have some wiggle room to play in. And this On isn't taking any damage. He just doesn't take any damage at all. And I have to always be mindful to not get touched once, because if I get touched, I just dissipate. And sadly I can't even pick up red buff due to what happened. I could have ignored them and pick up red buff, which would have been a major thing for me. But yeah, it is what it is, we move. Also a very underrated item in general for AD carries, for your support, is Zeke's Convergence. It's very, very powerful to get. Especially if you have high AD carries that hit often. Nautilus walks in, hits the Kai'Sa, gets the Knight here, flashes away. I have to ignore the Kai'Sa on the right side, I need to stay with the team. I get closer to the wall, need to be mindful of the Ornn. I have a front line in front of me, I can just auto-attack for free with 2 auto-attacks onto the ward. Kai'Sa will ult here, yes she will ult, I flash away instantly. Jace also flashed over the corner trying to kill me, and I just have to space so like this is what I mean. I expose myself for a nanosecond. And I get hit and the entire enemy family flashes into me. So, obviously, since this is the bigger view, in-game, you only see like something like this, right? So, everything that happens outside of this rectangle is something you normally wouldn't see unless you move the camera. Which makes it a lot harder, obviously, to pay attention to what is happening in a fight. And if I know or don't know that the enemy has a flash, I really try to stay further away, especially on a champion that is completely immobile like Caitlyn is. But if an enemy makes a mistake by walking up, they still need to be really, really careful, because my champion does decent amount of damage as we reach the late game. Because in early game she's very good on one item, on mid game she feels very, very bad, but the moment you get into late game she finally starts to be like an absolute monstrosity. That is the point where Caitlyn suddenly becomes Thanos, but obviously it doesn't compete with Tristana. Like Tristana is one of these champions that have been completely forgotten, God bless, same for Hecarim, barely anyone plays them, that are absolutely obnoxious to face. Like for example, for Tristana you have your levels 1 to 4 which are awful to play, level 5 is absolutely insane with the burst damage you have, especially on boots completion, and then every level after it just gets better and better and better. So for Caitlyn it's quite the opposite until late game again. Like early is super good, mid game super slump, and then late game, you start popping off. Kai'Sa makes a mistake, we can just pop Ghost here, we can just run them down, and I still have Ghost going. I just go after the Kai'Sa, you will not escape, and you will get instantly blown up. Because squishy champions actually take damage. And now we'll just focus on the objectives again. We really just want to take down the objectives. We don't want any fancy stuff, we just want to keep on marching forward, be a sieging AD carry. Place down the trap so we have one angle that the enemy can approach us from, and we just continuously hit these towers. Honor pops the ultimate, we need to be mindful, still get knocked up, the hitbox is an absolute joke here, and we have to be really careful to not die. Jace hits the combo onto me, Lilia's walking closer, gets hit by another spell, gets hit by the combo, survives with 1 HP, will survive the ultimate as well. Shen is really angry, flashing forward, trying to achieve, I don't know what he's trying to achieve, and now the Jace comes as well, but we need to, again, be too careful, because this champion has so much burst damage. We are in WildRift League of one-shot, meta of one-shots. Anything that touches you, kills you. And we want to really avoid this potential risk and put up, like, for example, when you play Caitlyn, these entrances here can be completely sealed off with your traps. And as you know, CC is one of the most broken things that you can think about in a MOBA game. And if the enemy walks into them, they're quickly, like shortly or briefly rooted, and then you can full combo them, but your entire team can also jump them. And a target that is in a trap of Caitlyn takes so much damage. Like, the headshot bonus is not to be messed with. Little zapper onto the backline. Moving upward, we have the Ocean Soul, guys. The investment paid off, it surely did, and it's completely worthless. Because if I get touched, I just die anyway, it doesn't work on minions. And we just try to establish like a little corridor again that we seal off. Again, completely sealed off the enemy movements. They can't enter for free unless they enter through the mid lane or the top lane. They can't enter through usual brushes. And then my Nautilus makes a good pick onto the Kai'Sa. We just walk up and we just completely blast her apart. We get blown up from the side. Now Lilia comes from the side as well. We take some spacing, one tap her as well. The Collector enjoy, because this was the only item I could buy at the very end. It's very funny. I will actually not include this as the full item. Because I just bought it because there was no other item. And now, for whatever reason, the enemy team is fighting top lane. When there's a minion wave in the mid lane, I can just walk towards the end here. So I'm now just placing random traps into the way. You see the hitboxes are insanely big. And now I'm just bullying the Ornn. I just need to let him know that he needs to go away. And with that, we just win the game. So let's just take a quick look at the stats at the end of the game. And the full build and the runes, so you just get a clear picture. I hope I have it recorded. I do have it recorded. You see, big damage. And with that, we're at the end of the video. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and come back for more RiftGuides content very soon. Bye bye.